Hello again and welcome to a different venue for our conversation with John Butler today. But we're going to continue on the theme that we started on the Common Sense Guide to Meditation. And John, I want to take it a stage further today in our conversation. In the first Common Sense Guide to Meditation, your emphasis, I'm sure you'll correct me if I'm wrong, is on the very simple physical act of, you know what I'm going to say now, bottom on the chair, feet on the floor. Now, I can't pretend that I wasn't disappointed by the simplicity of this. I thought you'd really, after all these years of meditation, you'd really have cracked it with some more sophisticated method, the John Butler method. But no, bottom on the chair, feet on the floor. But we know we are not our body at heart, fundamentally. So why, it's a puzzle to me, and maybe other viewers, why when it comes to meditation is the focus on the body? Is it just to distract the mind from its normal discursive activity? What is this focus on bottom on the chair, feet on the floor all about?
I suppose it's just common sense, I beg your pardon, because we can't possibly jump straight into realizing that we're not our bodies without some preliminary work first. It's just unrealistic. And I'm afraid a lot of people read quite advanced spiritual writings and try to imitate it, just like that. But let me emphasize again that spiritual work is a long, gradual process, and we have to start from where we are. And most of us, when we start to meditate, are very much in our bodies, very much identified with the body, and even more so with the mind. So how can we possibly just, like a frog, go 1, 2, 3 and jump out of them? And even if we do get a moment of doing that, we soon find ourselves back again, don't we? So, it's just practical, it's just what works. To start off with putting the physical body, first of all, in a comfortable position, and keep it reasonably still, because how can we possibly still the mind if the body is jumping up and down? It starts with keeping the body in a comfortable and quiet position, preferably not sunk in an armchair, because then you're likely to go to sleep. Try to have an upright stance. Why do you think soldiers learn to walk upright, straight back? Same thing. You're more alert, you're more attentive, you're more likely to function better. So get the body right first. And then this collection of feet on the ground, bottom on the chair, it seems quite laughably simple if you're aiming for the higher regions. Again, it's really just practical because it works. And if you try to venture into the deeper waters of spirit without actually being present, well, you're going to, goodness knows where you're going to end up.
So we could say that the emphasis on feet on the ground, bottom on the chair, is good preparation to still the body and be alert. Okay. Is there also part of that is if you focus the mind quite simply on your presence, your mind's already, if you like, on a lead. It's not wandering off.
Yes, stilling the body is again a very effective preliminary to bringing the mind under control, quieting the mind. And that is why throughout one's day it's very advantageous to have the sort of employment which requires you to focus the mind on some simple action of the hands. I was very fortunate in my early life to work as a farmer where I was working by hand with a hand tool. If you're trying to chop wood with an axe, for example, it's essential that you watch the action. You watch where the blade of the axe is cutting into the wood. That's the way to achieve precision. If you're doing any sort of handwriting, it might be called old-fashioned writing now with a pen on a bit of paper. It's very good to listen to the sound of the nib scratching on the paper. If you're washing up, for example, or washing your clothes in the old-fashioned way in the sink, it's very good to just watch your hands, watch the play of your hands in the water, listen to the clinking of the plates. There are 101,001 different simple everyday tasks which can be marvellously effective as a sort of early stage mantra in giving the mind a focus and bringing it to rest.
So we've brought the body to rest, we've brought the mind focused on being present in the body. What's next, John? Because, well, maybe there isn't a next. maybe that is the only place you need to be to become fully present and still. That's not my focus at all, I have to say. That to me is almost like getting a class of young children to sit still whilst the class begins. The real work, in my mind anyway, then is when you've settled, and I have a practice to settle, as you suggested, that's when the real tug of war between the mind flitting off and coming back to stillness. So is this where other practices such as focus on the breath or counting the breath, or does anything else fulfill the same function? Counting sheep, for heaven's sake. Just something to keep the mind coming back.
Yes, very much so. Let us consider the normal luggage that we carry around in our minds. Consider the books we read. If you read books, all the programs you watch on internet. Do these disturb the mind, or do they bring the mind to rest? Do they upset you, or do they make you feel peaceful and happy? Think of the company you keep. Is it good company? Does it make you feel quiet and happy to be with them? Or is it all does it jazz you up and get you all screwed up? These are important things. Think of the word discrimination. Discriminate between what is spiritually useful and what is useless in terms of spiritual advancement. Yes, just consider how you spend your day. Just consider basic things like cleanliness, fresh air. You know, there's again, let me quote from the Bible, the pure in heart, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Well, if that's your aim, just consider how pure or impure is your heart. Do you have negative, critical thoughts? Just look and see how many negative, critical thoughts you have in your mind. And try to, at least if you can't get rid of them, try at least not to express them. Keep them to yourself. If you can't say something nice about something or somebody, don't say anything. That's a good old saying. What about your daily habits? Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy and wise. It's another old saying. It's worth considering if you're inclined to lie in bed till midday and stay up till midnight. Are you in tune with the sunrise and the sunset? Are you even aware of the passing of the day? Aware of the seasons? And it may not be too easy if you're in a high-rise flat in a big city, but do your best to get in tune with the natural rhythms. Consider what you eat, whether you drink too much, whether your mind's distorted with drugs. Well, these are a few practical things you might consider before you start thinking about a mantra. I wouldn't worry too much about mantras, really. If you're lucky enough to find a good teacher and he gives you a mantra and you're happy with it, well, good, stick to it if you like it, if it seems to work for you. But if you haven't got a teacher, well, don't fret about it. There's another good saying, when the student is ready, a teacher will appear. And that seems to happen. There's no hurry about it. Just consider nature, how slowly things develop. Well, again, I suggest before you jump into worrying about the breath, consider the disposition of your own heart, what it is you really want. That's an awfully good question to ask yourself. What do I really, really want? And what do I love most? Because if you love the idea of not just temporary, but eternal love, not just a flash in the pan, one night stand or something, but real love, infinite love, love that never fails. That's the best possible outreach that you can have to spiritual development. devotion, a heart of devotion. There's nothing more important than that. You can play around with all the mantras in the world, but if you take a those simple word, just like ABC, and say it with love, with the heart's devotion, you will find your goal.
So you heard it here first. It's not. You don't even need to count the breath. You can just do your ABCs. And anything that is a vehicle to monkey mind. It's a bit like handholds, a monkey ladder for the monkey mind to hold on to, is what you're saying. But my experience, and I'm sure many people's experience, is that the monkey mind, even as soon as you've settled down, it's off again. And so there's this real awkward paradox, I think, John, or not a paradox. You're between a rock and a hard place. You're trying to use the mind to still the mind. So you get into this recursive loop of mind on mind happening, which just creates more noise.
All right, well, finally I'll come to answer your question. The monkey mind. Oh, don't worry about it. What's wrong with monkeys? You go and watch them in the zoo. They're fascinating to watch. You can spend a whole afternoon there, can't you? Watching their funny things. No, there's a much simpler way of dealing with the monkey mind. Don't try to control it, whatever you do. You never will. Why should you? What's wrong with the monkey mind? Now look, I'll show you a much better way of dealing with it. Look, here am I, the monkey mind. All these funny thoughts, or funny or terrible or whatever sort of thoughts they are. Anyway, you can't get out of them. Now look, it's as simple as this. Here am I, buried in the mind, aren't I? I'm just in this sort of cocoon of my own thinking. Nothing else really exists. Try to fight it, you can't get out of it. And all I have to do is this. Isn't it simple? I often draw the analogy between thoughts and clouds. Oh, clouds seem a terrible problem on an overcast day. But if you get in an aeroplane and go above clouds, you couldn't care less what's going on in the clouds, could you? It's just the state of the mind. Don't worry about it. But just either attend to the washing up, if that's what you're doing, or attend to, if you're walking, just try to watch what's going on around you, and you'll forget about the mind. And if you this is where you of course, using a suitable word or breathing can give you an alternative to your attention. It's not to control the mind. Avoid all these violent words like get rid of or control. All this is just violence. This has nothing to do with spirit, which is pure love. This is spirit. It's, look at my hands. It's forgiveness. That's forgiveness. When you open your hands. This is forgetting, you see. When you take things onto yourself. My thoughts, how do I get rid of my thoughts? This is forgiveness. Can you see my hands? Are they on the camera? Just think of this, my friends. There's no better illustration of meditation than that. Opening your clenched fist like that. Just let go. Let go, let God. Don't worry about the mind. Don't worry about it at all.
Phew, that's a relief. I think I've been barking up the wrong monkey puzzle tree all this time. Just sort of watching the thoughts to try and sort of dampen them down. It's sort of never ending. So you rise above the clouds of thought, and then is there a sense in which you are the observer, the unaffected observer of thoughts?
Yes, observation is another very desirable, if not essential, exercise in spiritual work. For the simple reason that the seer, S-E-E-R, the one who is seeing, in other words, the observer, is not the thing that is seen. Now let that little saying sink into your minds and your heart. It's pure gold. The seer is not the thing that is seen. Now then, whatever you see, all these, what you may consider undesirable features of your life, once you see them, you're already free of them, aren't you? They're there, they're part of the furniture, as it were. But that's not you, you're the observer, the witness. Yes, this is very important. You can't have too much of it. This is how you learn to discriminate. Observe. See what is useful and what is useless.
So the seer is not what is seen. There is the observer or the watcher on the hill, and therefore, if you observe your thoughts, then you are not your thoughts. You are somehow beyond or above your thoughts. Now, I'm a little bit familiar with a similar but a little different way of practicing this, and this is what I've been taught or I've learned is the method of self-inquiry, which I think you'll be familiar with. I'm sure you are, from the Ramana Maharshi tradition, where you simply ask the question, "Who am I?" or "To whom do these thoughts arise?" You can't stop thoughts arising; that would be unnatural. But you simply mirror it back and say, who is having these thoughts? To whom do these thoughts arise? And you go down that rabbit hole, and then you discover a whole new perspective. I wonder if there's a parallel or an extension of what you're saying there with that method of self-inquiry.
All these methods have their uses. It's very much up to the individual, really, what his preference is, to what he feels inclined. Traditionally, they're said to be three ways: the way of action, the way of knowledge, that's right, and devotion, the way of the heart. And most of us are pretty much a mixture of all three of these things, but one may predominate, and in relation to your daily practice, you may find that you're drawn to one or the other. So this is just part of self-observation and recognizing the sort of person you are, and follow your natural inclination. Again, I wouldn't use too easily words like right and wrong. If you feel happy, that's always doing, for certain actions make you happy, well, it's probably useful to you. Same with books and how you live your life, what feels right.
Can I invite you to just sum up then, at the end of this sort of common sense guide to meditation, part 2, just walk us through again the practice as though we were first time hearers.
Well, you'll have to prompt me if I miss stages out. Well, stage 1, feet on the ground. Come back to Mother Earth. Feet on the ground. If you're sitting, bottom on the chair. If you're standing, just stand. Look around you. Just be aware of where you are and what the conditions are, what the weather is. Listen and look. I can't think myself what comes next.
I think that is the total content of video 1.
It is what it is. Just listen and look, and almost immediately you'll be aware of the stillness, of the quietness. You'll be aware that there is, as it were, surrounding you, not in conflict with yourself, but surrounding you, a sort of peace. There'll be a quietness. Even if you're standing in busy traffic or driving a car, just to come into the present moment. Yes, if you can find this quietness, this stillness, it really supersedes all else, doesn't it? It really is the gateway. What was I talking to about for the last half hour or so? All these sort of preliminary stages. You don't actually have to have any of them if you just find this stillness. This stillness, which I've often told you, is really just the first step in the realization of spirit. And it's all here. So utterly simple, all provided. It's sometimes called the invisible friend. You can hold his hand invisibly. Really. You can just deepen your acquaintance with this and make that connection more and more. You'll find that all your needs are provided, all your questions answered, all your unhappiness comforted. It's all you ever dreamt of. This unfailing, everything really. The wholeness, the completion in which we find our rest. do what Jesus said. Come unto me. Just as simple as that. He said, come. Come unto me, all ye that labour and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. You don't have to believe it. Just get an inkling of it. Just in the simple practice of being present. And then perhaps at later stages we can think about being selective in what you read and what you watch on internet, and choosing how you live your day, because a glimpse of the goal will teach you what's best for you and for the world you live in. It will teach you everything. What do I do? How should I act? Or so and so. All these questions. Even just to remember that phrase, the invisible friend, it will reassure you that it is there. It really is. Maybe something of it is conveyed even through this video. It's total and it's utter simplicity. And it's always here and now. You can never be closer to God than here and now. That is sure. No more fear. No more worries. And then the monkey mind just brings a smile to your face, doesn't it? All these other problems that seem insurmountable. When we're on our own, here and now. Just feel that deep rest. Look at my hands again. This rest. Let go. Incidentally, this is also forgiveness, isn't it? All those things we try to fight in our minds, all the negative emotions we have, can't bear this or that, the anger that comes out of us. Just again, look at my hands, this simple action. Forgive. Let go. When you're at peace, you'll be peaceful, and peace comes from peaceful people, doesn't it? To make whole, be whole. Bring peace to this world that so often seems to be not at peace. Find the peace yourself and give peace. It's as simple as standing in a marketplace, standing in a crowded street, and just finding that stillness. You'll find the whole tenor of the world around you will change. It'll all be held in peace. And before your very eyes, the imperfect will become perfect, and the impure will become pure.